I'm an independent thinker, and when it comes to politics, I tend to keep my opinions to myself unless I am sure about my convictions. Often our opinions get in the way of facts, which we've seen far too often in recent years. Still, we should all speak up when we see something that is obviously wrong. The recent government shutdown is absolutely ridiculous, and it's costing our country billions of dollars for the sake of one man's political game. These are not opinions, but facts. The arrogance is astounding. For anyone who thinks that shutting down our government as a way to get things done is surely delusional. That is how children rebel against their enemies. Are we still children? Well, some of us appear to be. This is being done, supposedly, as a way to get you, the taxpayers in the U.S., to pay for a wall that would do very little, if anything, to stop illegal immigration or drug trade. This is the same wall that we were told Mexico was going to pay for, and somehow the same people are rallying around this idea, cheering using their own money to pay for a symbol of division. Perhaps they think it will really better their lives? Or maybe they just hear something that sounds really good and stand behind it. This is no longer about border security, and has clearly become about one man's own insecurity about what he can or cannot accomplish. During the past 2 weeks, over 800,000 U.S. workers have been furloughed and are not receiving paychecks during the holiday season. This includes various government agencies, but does not include the many subcontractors who work in fields intertwined with them. This is happening during the one time of year people are in the most need of a consistent paycheck. Mortgages are due, and bills are still coming in. This is a game that the people are losing, and we are tired of sitting by and witnessing such incompetence in leadership. This is all for the sake of one man being denied $5 billion for a wall that we know will cost billions more. But it is a show, nothing more, and this show is causing real people to suffer. Over 400,000 of these people are considered essential personnel, so they're still required to work without pay. Historically, once shutdowns are over, furloughed employees have received back pay. This also means we pay the hundreds of thousands of workers who stayed home, meaning we dump billions of dollars into paychecks for employees who did not do any work. The worst part is that many non-government workers, who are subcontractors for government projects, will not receive any pay at all. And this is throwing even more money away, and it adds up fast. When the government shut down in 2013 for a 2-week period, it was said to cost taxpayers between $3 and $6 billion, and possibly more. So how are we winning again? The ones who lose are always the workers. To make matters worse, there are no personnel at any of the national parks, yet they left the parks open, so trash is piling up at all the campgrounds, and nobody is there to help direct campers or travelers. Many agencies are closed, so there's no income from licensing, taxes, or a variety of other sources of revenue that keep the country going. We all know what it's like when we have to stop our own work for a period of time, and how long it takes to get caught up and get going smooth again. This has no benefit at all to the people. As for the wall, less than 25% of Americans support shutting down government for it. In Texas, near the border, over 70% of the local citizens do not support a wall and say it would not do any good. These are the people who live on the border and would know best. We know that in this modern day, with the technology we have, we can still protect our borders while not destroying the landscape and spending money that could be used elsewhere. To further complicate things, over the past 10 years, we've doubled the amount of Border Patrol agents while simultaneously lowering hiring standards, which has resulted in a mass amount of corruption in the agency. A wall only works so well if an officer can open up the gate and let someone in for the right price, and many do. There have been over 80 Border Patrol agents arrested in the past decade for corruption and related charges, as well as 127 CBP officers. No method is perfect. This means we need to look at things differently. Money is only part of the equation. For all the talk of being a great negotiator, our president appears to have no real-life compromising skills. We all know that it's an important trait to have, and if we can't reason and discuss rationally the things that are important, we all lose. And this does not have to be a partisan issue, for me at least. I'm an independent. I'm more than willing to give anyone a chance to show people a better way. There are people in positions that give them clarity on issues beyond the average citizen and forces them to make decisions that we may disagree with, but only due to our ignorance of the subject. War, for example, is a complex issue that has no easy answer. Borders are the same way. We want to help others who come to this country legally, but also to protect ourselves against corruption from those only interested in selfish gain, or those who may harm us. The money issue here is not one of those complex subjects, however. This is not something to ponder or to learn more about. These are facts and figures, and monetary losses can be listed. This is a man who decided to shut down the government because he's throwing a tantrum for not getting exactly what he wants, all for his own self-image, in my view, so he can say he left something behind, a symbol of power or accomplishment. Even offered billions for border security, there was no compromise. It is a wall or nothing, and I can only shake my head. Last year, the wall was going to cost $25 billion, and Mexico was going to gladly pay for it. This year, the same man is demanding that you, the citizens, pay for it, and hey, in the meantime, you might not be able to work or get a paycheck. Still, a few thoughtless people cheer every word the man says, but even some of his most fervent supporters are shaking their heads in disgust now, whether they admit it or not. It's easy to play games with the lives of others when you never had to work extra hours to pay for your food, or you never lost your home because you were a few dollars short on your mortgage. This is not an attack on Trump himself merely for being Trump. This is a critique of any person who would take such reckless approach. It is shameful and arrogant, and most people can see that clearly. I will leave you with this. There are no benefits to shutting down a government. At the very least, it shows we are incompetent to come to an agreement on issues. When adults disagree, there are other ways to find answers besides shutting people out of their jobs. The very people we are claiming to protect with the borders. People should not be pawns for political figures, but we always have been. If we're spending more on preventing problems than the cost of the problems themselves, we might want to rethink our approach. Personally, I'm disgusted by the government that is supposed to be running the show in this country. They have shown time and time again their lack of compromise, lack of expertise, and lack of understanding on the true needs and desires of the citizens of this country. I'm an American, not a politician or a Democrat or a Republican, a liberal or conservative. I'm a citizen of the land itself, and my neighbors are my friends. My friends are my neighbors. There's no simple solution to the complex problems we all face, but that does not mean that every issue is complex. This one is fairly simple. Stop acting like children. Let the people get back to work. Shutting down is like throwing a tantrum, and nobody wins. Thanks for listening.